Hello, I would like to welcome you to my Indian kitchen today. It's Melissa Curry, Dream Life Total Wellness. Thank you guys for coming on. I got my amazing helper and partner in life, Mr. Move over.
Hello, my name is Scott.
Oh my God, we are the Currys.
And that is the Curry.
We are actually Currys. Anyway, guys, it is all about delicious, healthy Indian food tonight. And you know, I'm wearing this original, and I got it from India on a trip that my husband and I won through our wonderful company that we work with. And so I thought, what better time? I might as well throw it on. You know what? And it's hot outside, and this, even though it looks like it might be hot, is somewhat cool. This is actually, and I didn't tie it right, but it's actually an outfit that if somebody were going to a wedding in India, that they might wear something like this, right? So anyway, we have a lot of great things planned for you guys today. You can't hear me, really? Let me just volume up. So we are going to be making you dal. We're going to be making you a vegetable coconut curry and a cauliflower rice. So hi from Texas, Joanne, nice to see you. So we're gonna start right out with our Indian dal, right? And those of you, you know, I love that you guys all join on and watch us in our cooking. This is simple, easy. You know me, I am the simple, easy, quick, fast, Joan, can you hear me? Because Stefania can't hear me, so I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Simple, fast, easy food. So I'm starting out with dal, and I'm going to be using our salad master machine and our Megan, you're sweet. And our MP5. Those of you that have the MP5, you have no sound either. So let's see if I can fix the sound. I really don't know how to do it. I've got it going live. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, so Megan, you can't hear me, but Joan can hear me, and Debbie can hear me. So
turn your volume up.
Turn your volume up. All right, so I'm going to start out with my dal. And this is really simple. Dal is lentils. So I'm using, those of you that have me, the MP5 that have it. And I've got it set on 325, okay? So I'm going to take, thanks Mom, I'm glad you can hear me. And I'm gonna cut up some onions because the recipe that I posted on your Facebook page calls for onions, okay? So I've got it preheating, like I said, onto 325. I'm gonna throw a little bowl, right? Beautiful bowl. Those of you that registered for the class on my site, my Dream Life Total Wellness site, are in a drawing, and I'm going to, what are we giving away today, Scott? A beautiful Salad Master Santoku knife. Yeah. Okay, so I will use the number 3 cone, which is the thicker, rounder one, and I'm simply going to place it on. I always lay it in my hand, and then I put my thumb on the side, never on here because you could cut yourself. Right, I'm just gonna lay that over there. I'm gonna take my onions. I always leave the little hairy butt on, right? And I put that towards the top, and I'll throw my onions straight in the back left-hand corner, pinch my pinky and thumb, and away you go. You're welcome, Debbie. I'm glad you got the recipe. Onions are a great anti-inflammatory food, okay? So these are gonna be really, they're good for our bodies, okay? We wanna keep our inflammation low. And then what I'm gonna do is, once I've got those on, I've got the skillet hot, I'm going to add the onions into my MP5. We call it the MP5. Those of you in the military, it's not a rifle, right? It is a multi-purpose 5-quart, okay? And I've always heard never to cook with sesame oil, but this recipe called for sesame oil, so to cook with. I've always heard it's a drizzling oil. I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna follow what it says. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of this on down there in the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead, and you should hear it sizzle. Yeah, I'm gonna put my onions in. Scott, if you could grab this bowl for me, that would be really great. Get me a spatula. Okay, so I've got the onions in. You can see those are quite beautiful, okay? And I'm just gonna give them a little.
Not just any spatula, but
salad master. A Tina Turner, okay? And we're just gonna move that around, and I'm gonna cook those until they're translucent. So I'm just going to crack. If I wanna crack in my beautiful, if I wanna fry in my Salad Master, I leave the cover cracked. If I wanna bake, I just cover. So I'm just gonna simply put that on there. Hi Miguel, good to see you. And then it calls for Scott, I just need you to clean my space. I'm gonna call for, you see, it's fun. You get to boss your husbands around when you're cooking, right? So then it says to take and get the oil hot, add the onion, garlic, and ginger. So what I've got going over here is I got my little garlic. I got 2 cloves. I'm just gonna simply throw those in, take that away. And then it says add the ginger. Now ginger, I've cheated. Okay, I can show you 2 cheats. You guys wanna see 2 cheats? Yeah? Okay, so I'm gonna show you one because my fridge is closed. This is just ginger. You can buy this paste or you can buy it in frozen little blocks. Hi, Ava, good to see you again. And it calls for, add the onion, garlic, and ginger. It tells me in the recipe to put 1 tablespoon. So, boop, there's a tablespoon. How easy was that? I could take fresh ginger, chop it up on my #1 cone, and it would make a beautiful ginger. I just didn't have ginger. And these days, let's face it, if we don't have to go to the store, we don't need to. Scott, can you rinse the onion off so I don't cry for the rest of the world? I'm so happy you guys are here. You make me cry. I'd like to accept this award in honor of. Just kidding. Okay, so I've got that going, and I've already pre-rinsed the lentils, right? So when I say I mean Scott. So I took the lentils and we just washed those, and those are ready to go in. Oh, look how fast that is. It amazes me how fast this stuff is. Those of you that were with me, oh, that is a strong onion. Oh my God, it's really making me cry. Those of you that were with me last week, I did spaghetti squash. And I was like, I hope the spaghetti squash is done. And it was under 15, like 20 minutes. And I pulled it out and the spaghetti squash came across beautifully. Okay. So I've got my onion, my garlic, and that all going, and it takes about 6 minutes, it says. So in the world of Salad Master, everything is half the time, okay? So half the time means 6 minutes in regular pans. Who can calculate 6 divided by 2? It's 2? No, it's 3. Okay, so we've got that going, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the water or the broth. I've chose to use broth today, so I've got my hearty vegetable stock broth, and the recipe calls for 4 cups. So I am simple. Those are beautiful translucent. I'm going to take my little measuring cup, and I'm going to put 4 cups in. There's 1, 2. I probably need another jug of this, hon. 3, and you know what, with Salad Master I always use less than more, because in regular pans the moisture cooks out. In your Salad Master it's not going to cook out, so you can typically use half the water or moisture that a recipe would call for. So I've got my moisture, thank you dear, in there. This one's empty, okay. And then it says to add the lentils, spices, and salt. Add the lentils, okay, boop. Spices, which it calls for, let me see exactly how much, cumin. So it calls for 1, I got my measuring cup, small tea on my recipe I posted is a teaspoon. So I'm gonna put a teaspoon of cumin. Okay, just got it ready to go. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of coriander. A lot of the spices in Indian food is the same. So once you get your spice drawer filled, then you don't have to worry about going out. These aren't spices like in everyday cooking. I don't know about the rest of you, unless you're cooking Indian food every day, not spices you would always use. So I got 1 teaspoon of coriander, and then it also calls for 1 teaspoon of turmeric, which I will do for you guys a breakfast class. And in my breakfast class, I love to make tofu scramble. And it's the turmeric, which is a great cancer fighter. It's fantastic for reducing inflammation. Howdy, Ruth. That will also, that makes the tofu kind of have that egg color. Okay, so I got my turmeric down. Cardamom. I think I already put the cardamom in. Cumin, cardamom, coriander. That's the one I'm missing. Hun, could you grab me the coriander out of that drawer right there? And we'll add that in. I thought I had them all, but you know, you don't always, you know, it's just like life. Fix It Scott says the more you're prepared, the easier things are. It's the same in cooking. I don't know if you guys have noticed when you're, like I do all these cooking shows, right? And I've noticed that when I'm cooking with nobody watching, I set up my stuff as if I'm cooking on a cooking show. which actually makes it easier because when you're prepared, it's perfect. Okay, so there's my coriander. I'm gonna put a teaspoon of that in. Okay, make sure I got the teaspoon and not the tablespoon. Okay, and oh, it smells amazing already. So good. And then it says 1/4 of cayenne pepper or to taste. So I have found in these recipes that I use less than what they call for because they tend to get pretty spicy. So I just use 1/3. Okay, and then it also calls for salt to taste. I don't like to use table salt. I'll use smoked salt, sea salt. Table salt, they've bleached. I'm just asking you, should we have bleach in our bodies? The answer to that question is no. Okay, so we'll put a little bit of salt in there. And then it calls for a little bit of cinnamon. I'm not going to use much. It just says 1/4 of a teaspoon. So cinnamon is really, I'm going to use 1/3. Cinnamon is really good if you're diabetic. It can help control your blood glucose levels. So I'll put that in there. Then I need a spoon. Dear, could you grab me a spoon? You guys should see how that's coming along. Quite nice. So I got it set at 325. I believe, oh, a big spoon for stirring, but that'll work. See, unless you're specific in what you ask for, you just get what you get. So, Scott, oh my gosh, I can smell the cinnamon. It's amazing. So that, I believe, is ready to go. Oh, and then it says stir in the tomato paste. So it says 20 minutes and then put the tomato paste in. So all I'm gonna do with this now is I'm gonna cover it and I'm gonna let that little valve do its number. When it ticks, that's when I'm gonna add in my tomato paste. So that recipe is now complete. Okay, pretty neat. That was Dahl. Awesome. Next, we're gonna start for you a vegetable curry. Yes, my last name is Curry. So whenever I spell curry, if you see me post the recipe, Currey, that's because that's how you spell my last name. So when we did win the trip to India, we go, the Currys are going to India to eat curry. Now, I gotta tell you, if you've been to India, the food there is fantastic. What I really loved was the culture of the people. People are amazing. They're so generous and kind and heartfelt and loving. And there's a lot of beauty to the country. It's also a very poor country, right? So it's different, but the food is fantastic. And a lot of the seasonings that you use carry over, okay? Now, when we got there the first day, we were like, oh my God, this food is so good. Then we got there the second day we ordered food and we were like, oh my God, this food is fantastic. And by day 3, we went, well, this food's pretty good. Day 4, we're like, do you have anything else? So we found that you could order naan bread and they would turn it into a pizza for you, which is great. Now, when you go to India, only eat cooked food. Don't be tempted to eat raw food, just eat cooked food. Because,
well, you'll be tempted.
You'll be tempted, but don't eat raw food, just eat cooked food. Okay?
How far group got sick?
Yeah. So anyway, so vegetable coconut curry. Now this one is really simple. I am cooking it in this beautiful 4-quart. This is a limited edition piece. You see the gold on the top of it? So I love this piece. It's also a fondue piece. I've been preheating it, but it calls for me to start with 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, which I need to grab, Scott. Add the onion, ginger, and it says add the onion, ginger, garlic, carrot, and broccoli with a pinch of salt and cover. So I'm gonna take my onion and do the same thing. I'm gonna use my number 3 cone. We call it a number 3 cone because it's got a 3 on the bottom. Sure, I could chop it by hand, but that would just take longer. So thank you, dear. So why chop it by hand when you can easily chop it up with your beautiful, easy to use, yes, Salad Master machine. I know, Debbie, I love the pan. Okay, so we got that going. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to take, and I'm gonna pick out the little nubbin ends, the buddy ends, right? Because we don't want those, see what I mean? Like it'll cut it, but sometimes you get those left in there if you don't cut them off. And I'm gonna ask Scott again to come wash my cone so that I don't sit here and cry in front of you. There you go, thank you, dear. Everybody virtually give him a like, woohoo, go Scott. Okay, so I've got this preheated. I'm going to add a tablespoon of coconut oil. Beautiful, it's really nice and hot. I'm going to drop in my onions. Do you hear it sizzle? Okay, and then, here you go, hon. Then, and a towel. Then it calls for, thank you. Then it calls for, let me just get my recipe up here. I wrote it big so I could read it. Then it says add the onion, garlic, ginger, carrot, and broccoli. So onion, garlic. I've got my garlic ready to go over here. It's 4 cloves. Boop, in it goes. Here you go. You can take all those away. Onion, garlic, ginger. Remember how I cheated with the ginger? Well, yes, I'm cheating that way again. So squeeze the ginger in. Boop. That's so hard. Okay. Onion, garlic, ginger, carrot. Now, you take the machine, well, move the machine over here. I'm not going to do the carrot on the machine because I want the carrot to have a different kind of cut to it. Stir that up for just a second. You guys should smell this place. It smells amazing. My lentils, the valve has stood straight up in the air. So what that means is I am going to, where'd my cover go? Take and add the tomato paste to it. Let me move this so you guys can see what I'm up to here. See what I mean by the valve is up in the air? It's like, boy, those onions, I'm so happy. Okay, straight up in the air. Wow, good flavor. How much tomato paste did my last recipe call for? It called for 2 tablespoons. Okay, I'm gonna get my 2 tablespoons. You could measure it, you could just go, there's 1, there's 2. Okay, super easy. I love this stuff. Usually I buy tomato paste and it's in a can and I end up wasting it, so I like to buy it in the tube. It's super easy to use. Okay, throw it right back in the fridge and away you go. I'm gonna give that a nice little stir. This is looking really good. Smelling even better. I'm like Fred Flintstone. I could float away with the magical aromas that are coming in. Okay, so cover that up. I got my tick going and I'm gonna turn it down so it goes into a vacuum. Now when it goes into the vacuum when you're cooking beans, because it keeps going around, I don't want it to stop ticking necessarily. Like if I was doing pinto beans, my mom is the queen of pinto beans, you just kind of tilt the top so it continue to simmer because you want those beans to cook at a little higher heat than 185, okay? So the same is true with my lentils. I'm just gonna kind of crack it. I got it at 275 now. Those of you taking notes. Okay? So I'm going to add to this, like I said, the carrots. Okay, carrots are really good for us. Okay, they look like our eyes when you cut them. So that means they're good for our eyes. So in my carrot, okay, I've got it, I've cut up 1. About 1 carrot makes about what you need. I cut it in half. I cut it again in half. So I've taken a carrot, I've got it like this. Okay, there we go. Nick, airmail. Well, it was your birthday yesterday, so I could probably send you some airmail aromas. Okay, rock that beautiful Salad Master knife that one of you who registered online before the class is going to be receiving as a draw. If you bring a friend online who has not seen a presentation yet, then you get a second ticket in the drawing. So if you have any brand new people, because we are doing virtual demos and they'll get inspired by your cooking and what we're up to. Can you take that here? What we're up to. Then they'll want to see us do a 90-minute show. And that is really cool because it becomes a private cooking show for you. You can do a cook along, and we don't make fried chicken, vegetables, mashed potatoes. On my out, we do, like the other day I did a show and I showed you how to cook along and make chile rellenos. So it was really fun. We did salmon. We did pan-fried salmon on one of our virtual classes. I had several customers I taught to make the cake, which is really nice. Okay, so did you get me that water, dear? Thank you. So, okay, I've got that going. Beautiful. Those onions are looking translucent. So now all we're gonna do is we're gonna take and we're gonna add in our carrots. Boop. We're gonna add in frozen broccoli florets. So hard. This cooking in Salad Masters is really so tough. Honestly, you guys, I didn't cook before. I hated to cook. Cooking, asked my mom. I told my family I was going to teach people to cook and they laughed. Loud and long for days. But I got to tell you, Cooking like this, I feel so blessed and easy that it's like having a private chef in the kitchen. I don't have to pot wash, I don't have to stir, and the food turns out beautiful, which is quite nice. So I've got that going. I've got the onions, broccoli, carrots, a pinch of salt and pepper, and I'm gonna leave that for 5 minutes. So dear, if you could get me some pepper, we're gonna add a little bit of salt. It says a pinch, so I'm just gonna put a little bit in there, okay? And we'll add some pepper. Now, don't add the coconut milk early, because if you add the coconut milk early, it kind of curdles a little bit. So I'm gonna let that go. It says for 10 or 15 minutes. I'm just gonna do it until it ticks, which is about 5 to 7 minutes, really. And then I'm gonna add, it says snow peas, I didn't have any. I'm gonna leave them out. I'm gonna add the tomatoes and the coconut. So this adds for the vegetable stock, the curry powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. So we're gonna add our vegetable stock. It calls for 1 cup. 1 cup vegetable stock. That's about a cup. Then it calls for how much coconut milk? 2 cans of light coconut milk, full fat for extra texture. Okay, so I've got my reduced fat coconut milk, which I'm going to add after, like I told you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the curry powder. They've misspelled curry. They forgot the E. Okay, so I'm going to put the tablespoon of curry in here. Okay, I've got my measuring spoon somewhere. There they are. Full tablespoon. Okay, really nice. Tablespoon, maybe a little extra if you want a little extra curry in there. There we go. Okay. And it also says to add the cayenne or chili pepper. Who's gonna add cayenne? Who's gonna add chili? Well, I'm just gonna do a little bit, not too much, because one of the things I learned in my years of cooking is you can't take it out. You can always add, but you can't remove, right? So we're just gonna put a little pinch of cayenne pepper in there. And we're gonna bring that to a simmer, and then I'm going to add in the tomato, once it ticks, I'm gonna add in the coconut milk and the tomatoes, and that will be ready. Is this easy or what? Did you guys think that cooking Indian food could be so easy? I mean, seriously, like, who would have guessed that cooking Indian food could be this simple? I know. So that's really coming along. It's beautiful. You can see the colors, okay? So I'm just gonna simply cover that. I've got it on medium in my beautiful little oven there, and move it back. So all we have left, oh my gosh, and we're 6 minutes from our promised completion time, is the cauliflower rice. So I forgot to preheat, and I've got my cooktop. Scott, would you mind putting this on medium over there for me on the cooktop? Thank you. And I'm going to take our cauliflower. You know, you can use regular rice, but if you're trying to get rid of carbs and things, cauliflower is a beautiful substitute for that. Okay, plus it lasts a long time in your fridge. So during this time, if you're not going to the store a lot, you can make cauliflower steaks. You can make cauliflower rice. I did baked ziti cauliflower, like a baked cauliflower in a ziti dish. So it's a really nice substitute. It adds a lot of heartiness to the food. Okay, but I'm going to use today my number 2 cone. What cone? Number 2. And I'm just going to chop up this head of cauliflower on my number 2. Remember, we lay our hand flat, we pinch the side, we turn, we line up the male-female part. You could drag out your Cuisinart, but let's face it, that's just a lot of mess and a lot of work. And then you just simply, oh, look at that. We turn our cauliflower rice. Away we go. Can you guys see that coming out? Isn't that awesome? I love it. Love, love, love. So super easy. If you were to buy a head of this in the store, frozen, it would cost you, I don't know, $4. You can buy a head of cauliflower on sale, organic, for maybe $1.25 or $2.25, and you get 3 times the amount of cauliflower that you would get in a pre-riced bag, right? So, quite beautiful. Got the cauliflower rice in there. Scott, could you get some olive oil and butter going in that pan for me? Okay, and we've got cauliflower rice. I don't know if you guys can see that. Really nice and easy. So we're gonna drop that in there. The reason I'm using coconut oil and butter is because I want it to get a little crispier and I want a really nice flavor. And I'm using vegan butter because this is a plant-based class, right? So we'll put some vegan butter in there. And then we're gonna season with traditional Indian seasonings. And you guys can probably guess what those are because we've used them as we went along today. We've got cumin, cardamom, coriander, turmeric, right? I think that's exactly what it calls for. So let me see. I'll just double check. It calls for cloves. I'm not a big clove person, so I may leave those out because recipes are really just a guideline. Make them so what you like, right? So we're gonna add cumin, turmeric, ground ginger, which I do have ground ginger out. It's right here. Boop. And I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle. It's like 1/8 and 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm really just gonna kind of sprinkle those on there. And it's gonna be quite delicious. So in the Salad Master with these, yep, cloves, cardamom, salt, cinnamon. I'm not gonna use cinnamon either because I don't want my rice to be sweet. My friend Lynn loves sweet stuff. I like savory. So again, I'm just gonna leave out that. So Scott's going to take, and he's got that going over there. Bring that over here, hun. So you can live with somebody, talk to them only, cook with them, and still love them.
And not kill them.
Come on. Okay, so we got that on. I'm simply gonna toss that in there. Nice sizzle we got going, and beautiful. And so Scott will simply take, here, bring that over here and I'll go ahead and season it, dear. We're just gonna sprinkle some ginger. Boop, 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 boop. That's probably good. I think it called for cardamom. I don't know.
Don't touch it.
No, I did. Yep, cardamom, just, ooh, a sprinkle. Because that, ooh, good thing. See, that strong, so just a little bit of that, okay? Then we're gonna sprinkle some turmeric. Isn't this fun? I love it. Who's gonna make these recipes? You're gonna have to post your successes. I don't think it calls for curry. Then we'll put a little bit, no curry in that dish, dear.
No curry.
What do we do with no curry?
Oh, no
oh
curry.
My God. By the way, Ruby, if you guys follow Ruby at the Lone Star, she's hilarious. She did these awesome videos. Let me see. I've got ginger that you need to watch. Garlic. I'm gonna put some garlic on there just for the fun of it. There you go.
Good.
And then we'll salt and pepper that up. We're gonna cover it. It's gonna click, and then I'm just basically gonna turn it off, and that cauliflower rice is gonna be perfect. So all we gotta do now is complete this little dish here. Okay, so I got see, part of cleaning or cooking is cleaning, right? You just get your little stations all cleaned up, and you can wipe that off. You gotta have your husband in the kitchen so you can boss him around. Scott, could you clean that? Okay. Cooking with the Curreys is fun, okay? So then I've got this going. I'm gonna bring it back over so you can see what we're up to here. So the lentils, goodness, those are almost done. The color is beautiful. Can you guys see that? OMG, the color is beautiful. Wow. And then it calls for, let me get the recipe so I don't add the wrong things to the wrong stuff. That's that. I think this one calls for the tomato paste. Tomato paste, stir, cook until, I already added the tomato paste, didn't I? Does somebody remember if I added the tomato paste to this? I don't think I did. Where did it go? I added tomato paste to something. Okay, 2 tablespoons. I think it was this. So I actually think that this is pretty much done. Wow. It says if it needs more water, it does not. So that's beautiful. So that is complete. That dal is already done. So that has been under, gosh, how quick was that? Like under 30 minutes, right? Then we are gonna finish up our curry dish. So I've got my vegetables. Oh, those are looking quite beautiful. Now I'm going to add to it, it called for fresh tomatoes. I had canned tomatoes, so I'm just gonna put the tomatoes in there. I'm going to add the coconut milk. Boop. Gonna give that a nice little stir. Voila. Wow, guys, can you see that? Beautiful, vibrant broccoli. So this dish is so good for us. And wow, I wanna give it a taste just so you guys can see. Let's see. Let me see. Once that cooks together, oh, and it's got a nice kick at the end. And remember, I used less cayenne than the recipe called for. So I've got that going in the 4-quart. Let's taste this Dahl. Oh, darling. Oh, darling. Okay, that's pretty hot. So let me just get that and turn it down a little bit to get it into a vacuum. Turn it down to below. Oh, I'm gonna blow on it. Ready? Who's jealous that I'm eating and you're like, oh my God, I want this Indian food? Wow. Oh, and I'm not just saying that. Really, honestly, I'm not that good of a cook, but when you have the right equipment in the kitchen, it makes all the recipe in the world. All the difference in the world. So, I did post a recipe for a cucumber tomato salad that I'm not currently going to make for you guys, but pretty much once that valve ticks over there, that's done. And you know, Scott and I can go hang out by the pool, come back and eat whenever we're ready. And I wanted to share this with you guys before I go. So on the trip to India, whenever we travel, we always like to bring back like a piece of jewelry. I brought a lot of jewelry. I was going to put it on, but I forgot. I got some emeralds. Right? And they're so cost effective. They're stunning. And we brought this beautiful Buddha head. And you'll notice that it has these gorgeous stones. It's a unique piece that they make. I went online and I was looking it up to kind of find some things about it. And Buddha heads are symbolic as well as a spiritual representation of an enlightenment of one's wisdom and one's knowledge. So that is the Buddha head. They usually have half closed eyes, which is a state of meditation, and they're looking inward to the self as well as outward. And they have a faint smile. You'll see the faint smile in the statue. It depicts the serene nature and nobility of the Buddha. Okay. Then on the back side, this one is unique because you see that beautiful sun. Okay? And it's got the stones, and you know, each of the stones, there's turquoise, there's labradorite, there's dragon's eye, there's turquoise, there's jade. Those stones all have significant meaning. So the sun is designed to pull the energy from Mother Earth around to the beautiful spiritual Buddha. So I wanted to share that with you. That was the piece that Scott and I are really proud of that we brought home from our trip, along with all the time with our great friends and Salad Master family. So I will post the pictures. Here you go, dear. I will post the pictures of all the food that we've completed here. Guys, share this video with your friends. Share it with your family. My goal is to have 5,000 viewers. My biggest video to date has had 2,500. Okay, so 5,000 is my next goal. And I'm going to actually, those of you on the call, we're going to win your beautiful Salad Master knife. Okay. So I had, I think, 13 people register for the call, so the odds are pretty good for one of you. I just want to know who's gonna win it. Oh, it's a gorgeous knife.
Beautiful Santuco.
So I'm not looking. Okay, I have got the winning ticket right here in my hand. Oh, and this is a late register. This woman I've done so many cooking classes with. She's an awesome health coach. She worked with Salad Master. She owns her set and loves it. Miss, Isabel, yay! So Isabel, we will drop that in the mail to you, or tomorrow. We may drop it off, whatever, with our little masks on. But I'll be back next week. We're doing a pizza cook along, and then I've also got a Salad Master machine training class scheduled. And if there's anything that you guys want me to cook, as long as I know how to do it, I'll post it. In fact, I think I'm going to do one on, my friend Barry came over last night, and she and I are going to do the pet food cooking class together. She's an amazing cook. She made me this turnip puree with fennels. She did scallops, diver scallops that she got at the farmer's market that were like through the roof delicious. And then she made this really unique apple, tomato, and beet salad. And I posted it on my Facebook. It was gorgeous and delicious. And so, if there's anything you guys want to learn to cook, let me know. If I have it on hand, I will And if you have referrals, I have some really great gifts. We can do cooking shows now all around the world. So if you're local and you know you're of my clan of Salad Master people, share me with your friends all around the United States. Those of you who aren't Salad Master owners and you may live somewhere, go on to saladmaster.com, punch in your zip code, and it'll send you to the closest Salad Master consultant. So we thank you. We appreciate your support. Let me know how your Indian food turns out. This is Melissa Curry, Dream Life Total Wellness, signing out for now. Thanks for logging on today. Bye.